I used to believe them when they said gaming will destroy my life. Iman Gadzhi, Hamza, and Tate, they all preach the same thing. Quit or stay a loser. I'm 21 years old, I'm getting good grades in college, I work, I hit the gym regularly, and I'm a gamer. But when I was playing Valorant 12 hours a day, barely leaving my room, they had a point. The touch grass meme couldn't have applied to anyone more than it did to me. My rank was the only thing in my life that felt like progress. But here's what didn't make sense. When I switched to games like Red Dead Redemption 2, it felt completely different. I wasn't chasing a rank anymore. I was, experiencing something. Like reading a book, but more intense. And when I finished playing, I didn't feel empty. I felt like I actually gained something. That's when I started to question the whole gaming is a drug narrative. Because if all games are equally bad, why do some feel like addiction and others feel like art? So I went down this rabbit hole, researching flow state, dopamine mechanics, why life service games are engineered differently than single player experiences. And what I found completely changed how I think about gaming. They weren't wrong that gaming can destroy you. They are wrong because they treat every game like it's the same thing. And it's simply not. Let me show you what I mean. Most games, especially competitive multiplayer titles like Valorant or League of Legends, are engineered to keep you trapped as long as possible. The drive to be competitive is hardwired into us, especially as men. We want to be the best, to improve, and these games provide a safe environment to scratch the itch. They have massive addiction potential, and I've lived it. Why was I stuck in Valorant for 12 hours straight? Not because I was having fun after the 10th hour. It was because my rank was the only thing that felt like actual progress. It was a grind I didn't have in the real world. In a world where you often feel worthless and the game gives you that instant feedback. You're good, you're leveling up, you have value. But when the monitor turns off, it all feels empty. I remember that feeling. Why did I play so much just for a gold rank instead of silver? Just so I can brag to my friends for a minute that I'm better than them in a virtual world? We live in a world where people are only valued by the worth they bring to the table. If you aren't earning a lot, you're automatically labeled as undisciplined or a failure. If you're rich, you're an idol. This pressure is exactly what drives us back into games. It's a perfect escape from reality, away from the pressure, away from the money. But that escape comes with a price. Then there are games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or The Witcher. Experiences designed with defined arcs, complete stories, or creative freedom. Take Red Dead Redemption 2. To me, it's a work of art. I've never been able to immerse myself in a story or character as deeply as I did with Arthur Morgan. In my opinion, no movie or book could ever reach this level of immersion or personal connection. In a game, you don't just read about a character's pain. You feel it because your actions are driving the story forward. You see the world from every perspective, you decide how to act. It's more intense than any book because your brain is in a state researchers call flow, an optimal cognitive state. You aren't just distracted, you are in a state of peak concentration where challenge and skill are in a perfect harmony. While a book invites you to dream, a game forces you to be present. This isn't brain rot. It's cognitive training in a world that rarely offers this kind of depth anymore. When I think of my old days in Minecraft, I think of the laws and the fun I had with friends. When I think of Valorant, I only think of the sweaty, stressful grind. That's the difference the gurus miss. They put every game into the same bucket. To them, every game is a drug. But the difference between live service games and games like Red Dead isn't just preference. It's psychology. And this is exactly what they don't understand. Valorant is designed to never let you finish. There's no ending, no completion, just the next rank. Red Dead Redemption 2? It has an ending, a story, a point. That's not the same psychological experience at all. Gaming makes you active. Unlike TikTok, where you are a passive consumer scrolling mindlessly, gaming puts you in the flow state, an optimal experience where you're fully in the moment. A masterpiece like Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't brain rot, it's an active life lesson. You learn more about loyalty, regret, and consequence than any business coach could ever teach you in an overpriced course. You live through the story, you make the choices, and you carry the responsibility. That's what makes these experiences so valuable. The self-improvement coaches will tell you, quit gaming and you suddenly become disciplined, enlightened, and 100% efficient. But that's not how humans work. Quitting doesn't make you disciplined. It just gives you your time back. And if you don't have a plan, you'll fill that hole with the next dopamine trap. Scrolling TikTok for hours, watching business tutorials you'll never implement. The real question isn't should I quit gaming? The real question is what am I actually doing with my downtime? And then I finally understood why the guru argument doesn't work. They act like humans are machines, like you could and should be productive 24/7. But that's bullshit. Even Iman Gadzhi doesn't sit in front of his MacBook building his business 16 hours a day. He takes breaks. He relaxes. He does things that are unproductive. He just doesn't admit it or shows it. So here's a real question. If you're going to take breaks anyway, and you have to, because humans are machines, what are you doing with that time? You can scroll TikTok, passive, no control. The algorithm feeds you content you consume, your brain turns to mush. You can watch Netflix, also passive, also no control, also just consumption. Or you can play games like Red Dead Redemption 2, active with decisions, with flow, with emotional investment. That's the point. Of all the ways you can spend unproductive time, gaming is, in my opinion, one of the most valuable. Not because it's productive, but because it keeps you active while you recover. And that's something the gurus will never admit. Recovery isn't optional. The only question is how you recover. A good game values your time. A good game leaves you active and fulfilled. And when I understood that, it became clear. I don't need to stop gaming. I just need to stop playing the wrong games at the wrong times. So what actually worked for me wasn't quitting. It was just paying attention to how I felt after playing. Once I noticed the pattern, the choices became obvious. You didn't need willpower to quit competitive games. I just didn't want to feel like shit anymore. Now I mostly play on weekends. If I play during the week, it's only after everything important is done. You can also set the timer before you start. It's not a system, it's just being honest about what actually makes me feel good versus what I'm using to avoid feeling bad. I don't know if this will change your mind. Maybe you still think gaming is a waste, but I do know this. I'm happier now than when I was grinding Valorant. I'm happier than when I quit gaming entirely and tried to fill the void with work. And I'm definitely happier than when I'm mindlessly scrolling. So maybe the gurus are wrong. Or maybe they're just missing the nuance. Either way, I'm done feeling guilty for playing the right games. You just need to start the climb.